Good day to you, Dr. Roshdy.
Hello, good evening. First of all, I would like to thank you and your program team members for this kind invitation, and I would like to say good evening for our audience today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roshdy. Now, how do you read the praise of the President of the European Parliament for development in Egypt?
Yes. I would like to say that what happened and the appreciation for trusting the Egyptian economy, currently it's kind of that we are bearing the fruits of the economic reform. Actually, we faced a lot of things, starting the evaluation, and this is not, by the way, the first recognition for Egypt that we are sending a positive signal to the global community that the Egyptian economy on the right track and the presidential leadership are taking our country for be among the most developed countries in the coming future, God willing. Actually, a couple of weeks, United ranked Egypt as the top FDI destination in Africa between 2016 and 2020.
Yes.
This is one of the most important things in addition to what happened nowadays. Actually, Egypt has passed, I would like to take you and our audience through the journey. Egypt has passed a number of regulatory reforms, laws, including a new investment law in 2017 and a new companies law and a bankruptcy law in 2018 and a new custom law. This is in addition to that reported from the Decision Support Center that Egypt's economic growth rate increased by 9.8% in the first quarter of the fiscal year 2021 and 2022. I believe, in my humble opinion, that I can recall one of the most important quotes for one of the most famous strategic planning science, which is called Henry Nitzberg. It is easy to plan, but it is difficult to implement. Actually, the implementation to reach this growth rate, which is the challenge, it means that we are working on the right path and we are on the right track. This is in addition that the GDP growth, we achieved the second highest gross domestic product in the African continent with a value, as far as I recall, 394 billion. Despite the fact the COVID-19 pandemic, we achieved last year, as far as I recall, 2% growth in GDP. Those tiny things helped us to actually achieve one of the most important things that the global economy, the global community is appreciating what's happening in Egypt. Actually, this is in addition to that the FX rate is stable for more than 1 year. Can you imagine, and our audience, that in a nutshell, number of the deposit volume in banking industry almost doubled after the devaluation. The FX rate is stable for more than a year. In 3 years, our debt to GDP growth decreased by like 20%. Those things, we are sending a lot of positive signals for the global economy, for the global community, that Egypt is on the right track. And at the end, I would like to draw the attention to the importance of flexible government policies taken by the Egyptian government to ensure that continued flow of foreign direct investment in the country, which possibly reflected at the end that the foreign direct investment flow to Egypt doubled from 4.6 billion in 2014 to about 1 billion in 2000 and more than 10 billion in 2019 before the pandemic started. I believe those tiny things helped our country to be one of the most potential economics in the globe.
Yes. Dr. Roshdy, perhaps most people or some people are not familiar with the term sustainable development. So if I would explain it in very simple words, it would mean that it's basically maintaining the current resources for the upcoming generations. But since you are an expert, would you further explain the term sustainable development to our audience?
Actually, for sustainable development, I would like to start the definition of sustainable development for one of the quotes about it, which is we didn't inherit the earth from our ancestors, but we are borrowing it from our children. For that reason, we have to keep it for the next generation, and to have a sustainable, business, sustainable environment. Now the global trend to decrease our carbon footprint. What is carbon footprint? That globally this is a trend, and there is a great initiative to do that. To decrease the fuels, to decrease our waste, to decrease everything. This will help us to keep our planet, the Earth, to the next generation or to the ancestors. This is in addition to have the financial sustainability. This is one of the crucial things to ensure that we have the capability to ensure that the business and the economic is growing fastly, and maybe some countries fastly, but other countries slowly but surely. This is the main objective for sustainability, to keep our earth and to best utilize the resources without polluting things. And there is, as far as I recall, in last October, there's COP27 conference in Glasgow. They are working to have a sustainable economy and have a sustainable environment, and to little bit keep the climate or the temperature for the earth like 1.5 or 2%, 1.5 to, as far as I recall, to keep the earth temperature in a proper way to can generate business and work properly, and the economic wheel cycle to continue for the next generation, and to keep our planet for us.
Yes.
This is in a nutshell.
Yes, in a nutshell. Well, Dr. Roshdy, Egypt has embarked on a new era of development since President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi took office, and we have seen a leap when it comes to mega projects in the past few years and even months. There have been numerous projects taking place here in Egypt, inauguration of projects in all fields: housing, infrastructure, roads and railways, electricity, fishery, so many projects that have been taking place here in Egypt. In your own opinion, what are the most important development projects that have been taking place here in Egypt recently?
Actually, I would like to highlight that starting Mr. Fattah el-Sisi, and under his presidential leadership, he took a great initiative. Actually, one I can recall easily, one of my foreign or my international friends, he was curious to follow the race and monitor the Egyptian economic evolution. He is saying how this has happened. He is saying that actually the presidential leadership, he is owning a magic stick. I'm just quoting him. Can you imagine that one of the international people or fans, the global community, is seeing Egypt in a proper way, especially Egypt, in my humble opinion, in coming years, 3 to 4 years, will be the business hub or the gateway to Africa. I would like to highlight there are a lot of mega projects that the presidential leadership do it during the last 7 years, which is one of them, Suez Canal, the infrastructure, the electricity, the new capital, the airports, everything. In my humble opinion, the most important thing that positively will impact our country is to focus on two things, the education and the health.
Yes.
If you would like to build a healthy community or develop the country, you have to focus on both of them. Actually,
Yes.
I would like to highlight that during those 7 years, as far as I recall, the education and research budget was like 40 billion Egyptian pound. It reached in 2014, 2015, it reached around 65 billion, increase rate around 65%. This is in addition to the health sector. Despite the fact of pandemic, the budget increased also. By this way, to focus on education and health, in addition to the mega projects and the infrastructure, this is possibly will help us to be the business hub or the gateway to Africa, and will possibly impact us that we will get more FDI, which little bit reflected on our numbers, on our FDI numbers.
Dr. Roshdy, the Egyptian-European partnership has witnessed a boom. In your own opinion, what are the most important features of the Egyptian-European partnership ties?
In my humble opinion, if you would like to analyze a little bit, I would like to take you and our audience, if you have the time for that. If you analyze the African countries, if you'd like to analyze it, you will see that the pyramid of the African countries or the age, the majority of it are youth segments.
Yes.
We are calling Africa as the youth continent.
Yes.
Despite the fact Europe, the majority of the population are not youth, they are the elder people, or what they are calling them the baby boomers and the baby boomers generations and Generation X. They are mainly, for that reason, the European countries, they are producing a lot of commodities. How they will sell it, they are seeing that the emerging market are the potential place to sell their products or to market to their products. Actually, the demand is quite high and will be quite high in Africa. For that reason, the European countries are focusing on the African countries, especially Egypt, due to its historical role and current role that we are returning back to play our historical role since Mr. Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is managing the country, actually, and this is something that we have to highlight it, and we have, as an Egyptian people, to be proud of it.
Yes. Well, Dr. Mohamed Roshdy, our economic expert, thank you very much for joining us in this edition of Cairo Local Time and shedding more light on the Egyptian-European ties in terms of economic and business ties, of course. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and we'll be right back.